Welcome to everybody who decided to join today Sano Seminar. So today our speaker is Jan Meizner. Janek is member of, at that moment is a member of extreme scale data and computing team. And he was for a long time involved with the senior scientific programmer in many projects. And today his talk will be about something what will be very important for practically everybody who is working in silico medicine, namely about what platform all these people will get. So, Janku, floor and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. I hope I can be well heard. So yes, exactly. I'd like to say a bit about well, digital twins in general. Obviously, many of you may already know this subject, but it can be something new for some of you. So also this concept of digital twin is a generic term which basically applies not just to medicine, of course, as Sano we are mostly focusing on this aspect, but I also would like to say a few words about it as in general. Also, and what's more, then I would like to introduce the architecture, also mention a few projects that were paved the way for this platform, and well, and show you how you could help us in building this concept. So, what's a digital twin? So we had for years very stable models, and but the digital twin is basically working on, let's say, this process of synchronizing data between physical environment and virtual models, on using different capabilities, and also on what is very important, on the mechanism of validation. It needs to be well validated, which already been presented before, but I also mentioned. So the difference between typical statistical model and a digital twin is mostly that it's supposed to, well, on the one hand, to be more interactive, and on the other hand, to provide a full life cycle. So maybe some samples would better describe what we are aiming here, and what other people who are utilizing this concept are aiming for. So, as I mentioned, the digital twin had and still have wide application in different industries. So as shown in the slides, it can be in manufacturing, it can be in aerospace and smart city, energy, and many more. But we are focusing on the concept of digital twin for healthcare, where, well, we want, as well, Sano is dedicated to personalized medicine, which makes this concept of digital twin really important and really relevant to Sano. So, as shown here, we can do personalized medicine through specific modeling, through some kind of in silico trials. It also can help really in acceleration of drug discovery, where in typical mechanism every test needs to be performed physically. Here we can streamline the process by doing some of them in silico. For example, we can try to filter out less promising compounds, or we can try somehow to reduce the time needed for ensuring for discovering the drug while retaining the safety needed for the process. So what we can model on it's a multi-scale issue. So we can model on a molecular level, on cellular level, on organ, whole body, or your whole population. This is a notion that already been done, which, for example, I was personally involved for many years. So actually, I've started my scientific career with a viral project, which was pioneering research on HIV prevention, and at the time the concept was basically introduced of this from molecule to organ to individual to whole population. But certainly over those years the technology improved, and the especially capabilities of computational system increased astronomically. So now we can do much more than those, let's say, 15 to 18 years ago. And and as I've already mentioned, yes, it's dynamic, it's person specific. There is more formal definition. If someone, I obviously I won't read it here, but if you like to there is a bit more about it, and some sample scales, so showing how. Unfortunately, I think the scale might not be visible on the presentation, but it's from, let's say, nanometers to meters. Yes, so from molecules to whole man. And so I've already shown usage of digital twins in, let's say, industry. Now I'd like to focus more on medicine. So as showed here, we can provide models for, and we are handling models for multiple organs. So it's both, and as we can also see, many of them are critical for our modern life expectancy, well-being, and generally they're related to disease that are very dangerous for the population, such as those two cardiovascular and oncology aspects are basically responsible for most death in the world. Also, obviously, neurology is important and the musculoskeletal aspects are important for the societies that are getting older, yes, because those type of disease are quite common in older people. So a bit more about how the kind of generic architecture now, without going yet into the VHT architecture built by VHTNet. But in general, we need to collect data from different sources. There are some samples of those sources. Obviously, every source, and in turn every data type incurs different requirements for processing, for storage. Some of them are, and for other resources, like some of them are CPU bound. We need big HPC systems. Some of them, especially genomics or omics in general, are more memory bound, in which case we need to have proper nodes capable of handling high, let's say, those kind of memory bound computations. Also, some of them require access to fast networks, let's say like mobile network, like all kind of wearables are now can be used more easily due to better coverage of high quality 5G and later and soon hopefully 6G networks. When we collect this data, we have a different kind of infrastructures used for processing. So that the architecture of the platform needs to handle them all, including obviously clouds, HPC, but also many other infrastructures like edge fog infrastructures. And as a result, we are getting what we want to get. So we are getting either some plans or some support for decisions. I always try to highlight that the IT systems are here to let's say improve the treatment and to somehow help the health professionals in making decision. We don't want to obviously to replace health professionals. We want to support them and make their decision more, let's say, firm. Yes, as judges. So moving forward, finally, the model needs to be properly verified. I won't go into details here because the last seminar was entirely about verification, validation, and certificate qualification. So if you were not present there, I think I'm not sure if it's already or it will be at least available. So certainly it is a very important aspect because as we know, some models, even not just AI models, but some classical models may produce results that are not of the best quality. And for medicine, it's critical to be as sure as possible that those models are proper. So this notion makes sure of that. So now let's move a bit more toward our call this presentation. So the European Commission is investing a lot and was asking and for a significant time to build consecutive layers of work around the aspect of in silico medicine in general, and now digital twins, virtual human twins in specific. So there are just some samples of those initiatives that I will say a bit more in details. I will tell a bit more, especially about EDIT and the VHTNet. So EDIT was a project by which I also took part, and it was by multiple institutions in Europe, including CypherNet, which is a part of AGH, University of and also there is the VHTNet is the current tender that this presentation is about. Obviously, there are other endeavors in the scope of Horizon Europe, previous to Horizon 2020, and further plans in the future. Also, there is an VPH Institute. So unless you know it, I strongly recommend you to go to the website and read about it. It's a huge endeavor trying to support both people like us, so people trying to provide infrastructures for the modeling as well as to support modelers and other experts. So yes, so as I said, those are the most important aspects of the VHT initiative. So we tried on one hand, we tried basically to connect people who needed to some work done, some models calculated, some I don't know, devices hooked up to the platform with people like us or like Cypher, like Cinec, like other HPC centers, Barcelona Supercomputing Center, so basically all kind of HPC centers, as well as AI factories and providers, or well, let's say cloud providers, so basically infrastructure providers. And finally, last but not least, we are also, and the consortium will support the, let's say, legal framework which is in line with EU values. So it's try to balance the best quality of the service with acceptable level of, with the highest level of privacy, basically. So this is also very important for us, how to make it in a secure way and how not to compromise, let's say, personal data while still be able to run as let's say good quality of models as possible. So we're going to EDIT. So EDIT was this, well, this is an acronym for this project, Ecosystem for Digital Twins in Healthcare, and it's already finished, as you can see from this slide. It was coordinated by VPG, but there were many stakeholders shown here in this map, and it basically paved the way for the VHTNet consortium, because the roadmap created there provided us with, let's say, actually not us, but it provided the European Commission with materials that can be used to design and to actually prepare the tender that paved the way for it, as I said, and also it during this edit lifetime of the edit, there was created a kind of manifesto. You can read it online under the link on the slide, but what's important. It's not just highlighting how well the future of the VHT initiative should work, but it also been signed by multiple stakeholders. So it ensures that we always can produce documentations. I personally written a lot of documentation, but every time I am publishing a deliverable, publishing a paper, of course with paper it's a bit easier because there are citations, there are even sometimes some statistics which can show how many people read it, and I can assume that at least some of them understood it. But with many documentation, there is an issue that people might not be reading it. Yes, so just to feel better, it's always good to know that there are some institutions, both from academia and industry and civil societies, and like shown in the slide, that actually not just read the document, but are agreeing with it by putting their signature there. And there are also those who we expect to strongly collaborate with us in the scope of the project. So yeah, so about the platform itself. So on basing on the outcomes of the EDIT project, the European Commission created a tender for this kind of semi-production kind of platform that could be utilized by multiple stakeholders, and that would connect modelers, legal experts, and everyone interested in distributed computing and AIs and HPC and all modern infrastructures with people with know-how in the subject. It took some time to be evaluated. So as we can see, it started in 2024, but now it's maybe the tender started in 2024, and now the platform itself has creation of the platform has logged. I think that would be the best way to put it. So we are working on the platform, and the platform on less 1,000 miles from above is composed of these 3 services. So basically the tender is public. You can go to the website of the European Commission and DG Connect, and you can read in details the document that has about 80 pages, if I remember correctly, describing how this platform will be organized, what are the goals, and what we as a consortium building the platform will be able to provide. But here I just would like to quickly show the most important aspect of the platform. So basically the platform is composed of these 3 main components. One, the access federator, is above those 2 others, so it facilitates access and visualize results, whereas the repository holds different type of models. So I'd like to highlight that obviously we have not just AI models. It's now AI is really important, but it's not only important thing. So we have both physical models like CFD calculations and AI models, and also orchestrator is a very important part that will provide ability to run those simulation of various kind of infrastructures. And what is important here is actually a quote from the original document. So it's showing that the access federator and the orchestrator is to be deployed in different stakeholders. So there will be a centralized compute and storage services provided by the consortium, but also the platform is designed in a way that it would be able to utilize local resources provided by the stakeholders. So this is really important because for many years I've been collaborating with, for example, University of Sheffield, Insignia Institute, and institutions from Sheffield in general, and also and other obviously other institutions from around the Europe. And every time there is a kind of every time we have a hospital or institution that process data that is that should not leave the premises of the institution, there is a problem, but there is a challenge. Yes, let's put it that way. So there's a challenge how to balance the risk of moving data and the need for large computational powers. Fortunately, nowadays, many institutions like hospitals have their own infrastructure, maybe not comparable to supercomputing centers, but still significant. So now the challenge is to build a platform that would allow to appropriately schedule the computation on the fastest infrastructure available for the given data. So we would like to, on the one hand, to utilize the compute and storage network as it is described here. So the centralized infrastructure for the data that can leave the premises of our stakeholders. So like pseudonymized or anonymized data, or maybe some synthetic data for building models, either AI models or reduced order models, or thing we were doing for many years up to now. On the other hand, we would like to provide a platform that would enable stakeholders utilizing the familiar system, so also for running computation inside their own infrastructure. So that's where we would need a lot of input from our users groups and user communities, because we need to adapt the platform to the widest. Obviously, it's not possible to include every infrastructure existing in the world. So we need to do a thorough research what kind of infrastructures are required and how to link them in the most smooth and problem-free way. Also, this is an important aspect that quality of the platform is important. So the contracting authority actually explicitly stated in the requirements for the let's say tender that we're required to provide a continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline encompassing all kind of testing, both classical software testing like unit testing, but also advanced security testing like static and dynamic testing against vulnerabilities. We also will have the platform for smooth deployment to ensure that in case and platform and procedures to ensure that the delivered data is of as high quality as possible. So yes, this is one of the most important slides here. So we got the tender, and the consortium is built of really experienced entities. So the consortium is led by engineering Belgium, which is a department of but part of the larger enterprise with headquarters in Italy, and they are experts in software development and in software development related to this kind of infrastructures, and especially. There is also Sineca, which is a really big HPC center in Italy, and they are hosting one of the AI factories, which also would be is important for our project or tender. Obviously, we are involved there and responsible for helping Sineca in managing and providing infrastructures as well as the software development of the orchestrator part. So we would like really much to talk with anyone providing infrastructure, but obviously models also. The entity data is a part of entity data is responsible for digital services in general. And I've already mentioned the VPH institutes and others are under our and we have also two universities which those three entities, so the VPH institute and those two universities are our subcontractors, and finally the Institute Trials is a company with huge experience in handling in silico models. So the project already started in January, and there was the first elicitation session for linking us with potential users and potential providers of, well, maybe not providers, but people having their own infrastructures, and it will continue. So we already collected, over 150 people took part in the first session, which was in hybrid mode in Brussels in February, but the work continues, and now we are looking for much more people interested in helping us to build the platform. I think the moment now is the best moment to join us, because the platform is still being designed and we are still collecting requirements. So what you can provide us now will shape the future of this platform, and you certainly it could make your later future let's say collaboration with us more smooth, more problem-free. So yeah, as showed here, we're looking for everyone interested. So even if I forgot about some of you. I'd like to apologize. So just contact us. But certainly, those three groups are really important for us. So we are looking for modelers with all kind of models. We are looking for maybe infrastructure provider like for the our edge or our local resources, and we are looking for legal and ethical experts. Obviously, the consortium already we are providing those services as part of the tender, but we need to. Well, discussion is something that is always prudent and without input from. And I've already personally, and we as a team already got a huge amount of input during this first session. I'm really happy that I was able to attend it in person in Brussels, but we, as shown here, it will continue till September, and it's what's not here on the slide is that it's really intensive. So we are meeting twice a month. So obviously you are not we would like your input as much as possible. You don't need to attend every session. We actually even divided those into slots, so most of you will need to join only once a month, but you are welcome to contact us, and it will culminate with also final in-person meeting in Brussels at the end of this user elicitation session, where we can sum up it and once more. So the nearest one is actually tomorrow. So if you are already involved, we might see each other tomorrow, and other also, as this session is not just myself or just Sano, but the whole consortium. So you I think this, well, while during today's seminar, I just wanted to highlight the notion of digital twins and the platform itself, and invite you here to those sessions. During the elicitation session, we can discuss a more in-depth technical or formal details as needed. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your participation, and I am open to any questions that you may have related to those subjects. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for presentation, for this presentation and for this invitation. I think that well, it would be good to present more, let's say, detailed instruction how people can join this meeting. For example, tomorrow.
For tomorrow, it might be hard, but basically, if you just drop me a line, I'll contact you with our team, or you can. Well, I think it's we can discuss it. Well, I can tell you offline because it's still a dynamic process. But basically, just drop me a line, and I think that I will contact you probably with Lisbeth Garis, who is really good community manager, and she will facilitate. But there also will be a form for that. So we will probably be publishing this seminar. So at that time we can also add relevant URLs. So just check our website. Maybe it's a good idea to put it even on the website with this seminar, so we will add it later.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
so just check our Sano website. Okay.
Well, we have questions from from Olaf. Olaf, please go on.
Hello, thanks Yannick for the overview. As with all large projects, the problem is very often speed that is lost by negotiations between the partners and the EU, which has a different vision than what is feasible in many cases. So Is there anything like you already have some early milestones where you have to be at a certain point in time that really, let's say, can serve as a kind of control whether the consortium is really fast enough to counter, let's say, Apple or Google or whoever will probably midway come up with an idea that will make lots of the plans perhaps questionable?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think yes, there are milestones, and there is already a deadline for, well, the whole project duration is 3.5 years, but there is already a milestone for MVP in 1.5 years, if I'm correct. I'm speaking from top of my head. So, and also there are milestones like every quarter we are providing. There are lots of deliverables. It's something certainly new for us because we've had deliverables in EU projects, but this is much more focused on showing more smaller deliverables. So I think that it's on the one hand it's always, well, too much documentation. Some people are afraid that too much documentation is too much, but without this documentation, maybe we could stray in some strange ways. So I think that we should be able to get feedback as fast as possible. Also, European Commission is really involved in this project. As you can imagine, well, there were different rate of success of some previous projects. So this time, well, it's a bit different mechanism, yes, as it is a tender, but also I can see some positive aspects of trying to, well, help to make sure that we are here on schedule and with what is promised, what has been promised. Yeah.
One second question, if I may. Many of these projects, and we know that in Sano very well, hinge on the question, do we get the medical data? Do we get the medical people to provide us with the things that we need, for example, to train a model or to validate a simulation model or something like that? So is there any mechanism in there that makes it more probable for this project to get such collaborators than previous projects that more or less, I think, have all remained in a very academic setting because of the lack of such really, there is no incentive really for the medical facilities to do that. So, and I'm wondering whether that is somehow some ideas here different than in other projects we have seen.
I think the biggest, well, one aspect is security. So I think obviously this is just, as I said, the kind of maybe not pre-production, but the idea is to build the platform that might still be tested on the synthetic data or anonymized data because, well, there are future steps for extension of said platform. But I think that the one aspect that might help to involve people is what I mentioned about the fact that we are trying to build a homogeneous platform that will be able also to orchestrate computation on, let's say, satellite or what they call in their local resources. So what I remember from previous projects, it's quite common that the let's say especially medical institutions are unwilling to share any data, even
Exactly.
if the data is anonymized or pseudonymized, they are afraid that it might not be to the appropriate degree. And the concept here is actually to try to solve, well, try to provide both modes. Yes, so for data that is actually, this would be also the big task for the LC framework team. So how to categorize and how to convince them, well, with their help, the stakeholders that we will ensure that the data that should stay at the let's say hospital stays there and that can be moved to the centralized compute and storage network facility can be moved there. So this is, I think, one incentive. Another one is that, well, actually the platform is what they can free to use, but does not always require the handling over of the data. So that may somehow pave the way toward bigger understanding and bigger trust to it for the stakeholders. So I agree, this is a great question, and this is something which is also a huge amount of possible infrastructures from the stakeholders is a significant challenge for us, yes, to handle them all smoothly. But I am optimistic, yes, and with us there are many people involved, not just from Sano, but other members that were already involved in multiple projects. I am hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you very much for the question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Many thanks, Olaf. We have Enrico de Roller with hand up. So, Enrico, please go on.
Yeah, thank you, Marian. Thank you, Jan, for the nice overview. Of course, interested in participating to this and helping and being part of it. So I'll send you a separate email. So I have 3 questions. So I start with one, and then, Mariam, feel free to interrupt me and to pass it to the next speaker. I don't want to monopolize the discussion. So the first one is a bit about the level of maturity of the models that you're looking for. So of course, as you mentioned, credibility, validation, verification, and so on is a key part of it. Can you tell us a bit more, if at this stage you're looking for very mature, validated pipelines that can be somehow integrated in the platform or test or used to test the platform, or also relatively new pipelines which are not as validated as the more mature ones?
That's a great question. So I think both. So in my opinion, as this platform is not yet production, I mean, the aim of this platform is to build something of the tender to build a platform that is between what we already, all of that as probably know from previous EU projects, so strictly academic installation, and something that is provided, I don't know, by companies installing software in hospitals. So the idea is that at some point this platform will evolve, probably during the following tenders, so after 3 years or 4 years, depending how long it will take. So it will evolve into full production that can be used by let's say hospitals and medical professionals. But for now, it's more important to collect as large amount of models and check how it will work as possible. So yes, I think both, and yes.
And this, my second question is linked to what you already mentioned, which is, some of our pipelines, even though that are, have been developed in the academic framework, they may use some third-party software, so licensed by I don't know, software engineering companies, or for example, in my case, ANSYS or Abacus or this type of software packages. So are you looking also for pipelines who are using third-party software? Can they be integrated at this stage into the platform? I mean, do we need licensing agreements? So what's the plan there?
So this is another great question, and this is what I expected from this seminar, is also to get this kind of feedback. So I'm not 100% sure, but I expect it would be good to be able to provide also support this kind of workload. So as most of computation is envisioned at Seneca, I will contact my colleague from there, from Deborah, surely will will be. But I'm also make a note of this question for us as one of those, one of those requirements for the platforms. So yeah, this is something really important to be checked, and I will get back to you as soon as I know. Yes,
It's really important to solve the problem of licensed software. So.
Yeah, especially that. Well, this is we are here. This might be a pre-production, but we are here. It's a similar case to Sano. So basically, Sano is a non-profit. Not non-profit institutions, but as it is not academic, then for many software vendors treat even institutions like Sano as a commercial entity, and we all, and certainly this kind of tender and many of our colleagues from like our let's say from the consortium are actually companies. So this is certainly something we need to take a good care of. So great question.
Perfect. Thank you. Mariam, I'm allowed for a last one.
Yes, of course.
So, my last one is a bit, I don't know. So this is all about virtual human twin, which is great. So it is, you're looking for models to be applied for taking a decision in human. But there are other models, and we work on some of those also in Sheffield, that are applied to animals, simply because sometimes it is easier to validate those models against the experiment in animals first before translating them into human. So my question is, how strictly are you interested in terms of models for human applications, or do you envisage this platform also to host models that could be used for animal applications, still for medical research, but in a preclinical phase?
Another great question. So I think that what's most important is that it's already been decided that the platform will be open. It will be open sourced. So not sure. So generally, even if the European Commission would not allow, let's say, animal models in the scope of the VHTNet consortium, we as Sano are very much interested in that, because, as you said, it can lead to human to improvement of procedures for humans. So certainly we will find a way to utilize this platform or some part of it for all kind of medicine related models. So
I was mentioning that. Yeah, that's great to hear. I was mentioning that, Ian, just because this type of models sometimes are based on higher resolution images compared to what we can acquire in a patient. So from the infrastructure point of view, they may be even more challenging, and therefore it may be good to also include them to challenge an infrastructure, or having an infrastructure which could also host them. Yeah. All right.
Certainly, and also I am personally interested in it because while I am here very involved in the VHTNet, and basically I am, let's say, leading Sano's involvement in the project. I am still working on my PhD. And my PhD is about obviously those using those kind of infrastructures, and the bigger the problem, the better for me. So certainly just drop me a line. I will drop you, because I can see you have there is your email. So I will drop you a line, and we can discuss. Also, if I may, I can quickly reply to this the question from the chat. So I think we already partially replied to it, but by all means, I'll write in a moment my email. so it's easier to copy from chat than from a slide, and just drop me a line, until we have the procedure finalized where we will publish on our website the direct link, I will facilitate it and let you know. So yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your questions. I think that that we have now. I saw a question from. I think that it was Daniel Tarzolini. Am I right? Or
I think it's the one about the how to join VHTNet, but
I have such impression that it was about the way of joining.
yes. So there is my email in the no, there will be my email in the chat just in a moment, because I think
it
was just
yes.
The Zoom is very strict.
Daniel, if your question was, let's say, something more than just how to join, so please go on. If not, I have seen Olaf with
but
hand up, but I think that now Olaf has hand.
Well, I lowered it and raised it to say that this is not a leftover. So I have another question, actually.
Yes,
go on.
Please go.
So first, a remark regarding the animal models. I think if you are admitting models that are, let's say, mechanistic, let's say something like 0D models, I would say that many animal models are better approximations than many of these mechanistic 0D models. So they could just be under the headline of approximations, still make very good predictors. But my question is another one. If I read correctly on one of your earlier slides, then you have to, or one of the demands from the EU is that you have to be in line with the AI Act.
Well, it's one of the the aspects, but I'm not sure if we are. Well, this is more our legal department capacities, but I hope it's everything up to discussion. Certainly, we need to be in line with every requirement of the European Commission, but maybe we can somehow even influence it, because
my question was different. My question is related to that, but not exactly about the AI Act. The question is, how much flexibility do you have? Sometimes these EU contracts are a little bit strict. The AI Act is tricky, of course, to be strict because it's not yet really there, and some of the things have just been postponed for another year. So you cannot promise to be in line of some legal thing that is not even there. Yeah. So, but the question is, how much flexibility do you have to change midway? I was referring to Google comes up with a strange idea that is challenging the way we do kind of virtual human twinning or something like that. Can you move around easily, or is this all by the usual EU process of make a proposal, then you can enter into discussion whether you can change the description of action or not?
So basically, well, there is no typical description of actions because of the tender, but there are some requirements. So we are still very early, so we will see how it will go. I hope for some flexibility as we got signals that this is actually the part of a bigger initiative of, if I remember correctly, it's over 100 million euro for this kind of enterprises around the digital health. So we are promised with the flexibility, but we are you know probably very well how it sometimes is. So we will see how it will go. There is a lot of communication. We have a lot more contact with the European Commission than during the EU project. So in the EU project, you can write to a project officer, wait 2 months, and maybe they will write back. I'm of course exaggerating, but there is something like that. And here, actually, there are. I am not involved directly in this, let's say, management on the level, like project management. So I'm not taking part in all of those meetings, but I think there are monthly meetings with the European Commission. The European Commission also had a cert tender for the company that will somehow help them to build this, let's say, well, maybe not build, but to how to say, to make to facilitate the work with us. So
management, yes.
Yeah, so yes, exactly. So I think that I am hopeful. After, well, the project just started. The key actually, it's so it's like after the first quarter, it's hard to say. But also there is a dedicated. There are, I think, seven how to say, 7 topics analyzed during those. Or 7 teams during those user elicitation sessions, and one of these is directed toward LC and legal. So I think that there will be a lot of people there that will try to influence.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, many thanks. Well, okay. I don't see any other people who would like to take part in discussion. It is something what is at the very beginning. So I think that from the time to time, Jan and other colleagues from Sano will try to give a kind of update on what is going on. But anyhow, it is for the whole community involved in silico medicine. It is something what will probably facilitate research in the sense that on this one of the figures there was mentioned repository, and it is a repository of models and data sets. So I think that it will help in exchange of these models and models developed in the framework of one, I don't know, PhD research of PhD student leading to PhD will not be thrown away, will not be just put aside, but it will land into this repository with a good documentation, so it will be easier to reuse it in the future. So it is also a kind of reduction of waste in our research.
And also, I've got indications from the community during this meeting that
yes,
we need to involve PhD students and other
people directly involved in this. So it is. It seems that this is all for today's seminar. Many thanks for participation. Many thanks for discussion. Recorded version will be soon published on Sano website, so it will be possible to come back to this. And of course, Jan is a person who could be contacted for some details of. And I would like to invite you to next seminar, which will be in a week from now. It will be a talk given by a professor from Krakow University of Technology by Władimir Matiuszew. And it will be related somehow to modeling and image recognition. So many thanks, and see you in a week from now.
Thank you very much.